We're looking at spending money across development of mass transit, development of a suburban rail network or improvement to our rail network so that it feels like we're getting towards a true suburban rail network. And then we've also put some money within that aside for bus improvement, which is a sort of separate but very connected piece of work around how we improve our bus network across the whole region. And we're also looking to put some money aside as well to build on the work that the government's already announced around road improvement, potholes, road maintenance, because we know that that's something that's really affecting people in the region as well. It is most likely to be, I would say, trams, light rail, guided bus, more metro bus. The way that I see this is that we have a well-established bus network that runs across the region, and that's our kind of number one go-to in terms of public transport in the west of England. What I would like to see is that the rail network, the suburban rail network that supports that, be further developed and have more frequency on it so that that becomes a viable option for commuters, shoppers to sort of rely on. And then my vision is that we then look at where the gaps are in the network, look at where the hotspots are around congestion, where we don't have enough capacity on the road for the people that want to make those journeys, and that's where we start to think about where we put our mass transit solution. And I'm mode agnostic, if you like, in terms of what that is, but I know that there's a great affection and a romance towards trams. We used to have in Bristol. We'd led the way on that until the war. So I can understand why people would be particularly keen to see that. If the infrastructure points us towards trams in certain parts of the network, then great. If the infrastructure and, of course, the budget envelope points us towards something different, whether that's guided bus or light rail, then that's fine too. So it's not an ideological view on kind of one form of transport. It's actually about getting the whole network working together. Today is a big news day because we've got this money allocated, but as we start to spend that money and we start to get further on in our thinking, my job will be to keep people informed and to let people know where that thinking is going. So I don't think it will be a kind of moment of, it's not a tram. I think those conversations will continue over the next few years. This is across the whole region. So everything I do now in this job is I look at things from a holistic regional point of view. So if we have bits of our network which are failing in and around Bath, then we look at that. If we see something failing in the centre of Bristol, then we look at that. We know that East Bristol is tricky. We know that the A4 corridor between Bristol and Bath is really tricky in terms of congestion. What we also know is that we've got an airport, which is the only one in the country which isn't connected in by mass transit of any form. So it would be remiss for us not to be looking at that as well and thinking about how that can benefit South Bristol. The airport is a busy airport. It's a really important regional airport, and I would much prefer that the only way to get there wasn't by car. We have the airport bus at the moment. I don't think that's good enough for an airport of that size, and I don't think it's the right entry point for us as a region. If you're coming into Bristol Airport as an investor or as a business person, I want you to come into a place that feels modern, that feels up to date, and so it is important to me to think about how we can make that work.